Hi everyone, this is Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH1502 Introduction to Community Media. Excuse me, what we're going to talk about this week is a brief overview of the topics that we'll cover in the lecture and maybe some of the activities that you'll do in the workshop as well. This week's lecture follows the same pattern as I did last week. I've got some video clips available to look at, and we'll have a discussion about some of the way that community media is characterised and shaped in some of the practices. So this week we're going to look at community radio and what it means to be a participant in a community radio station or a project, and how things vary and differ from more mainstream forms of kind of professionalised, standardised forms of media production. So we'll look at some examples and go through, what is community radio, I suppose, is a really good question for us to anticipate. What kind of is the role that community radio plays in different communities, either as a community of interest or a community of location or a community of identity. So expressions through music, through expressions through concern for certain social topics. Maybe a question we can ask ourselves is, what would you do if you had the opportunity to work on and design your own program on a community radio station? And how would you define the kind of social purpose of that? Is it keeping people company? Is it entertaining people? Is it providing people with information about the locality and about the specialist networks that you're part of? And is it how is that different from mainstream media? Is the question that we ask at each stage of our thinking about community media. And then we'll talk a little bit about, there's an opportunity to get involved with some community media, community radio in Leicester, and I'll give you some details about that. In the workshop, what we're going to talk about and discuss is how to be a community reporter. And hopefully these can be applied to different kind of formats, print, media, print, video, radio. They're kind of some generic skills that hopefully help us to tell stories and indicate how we can structure and explain some possibly complex arguments in a way that's accessible and engaging and entertaining and informative. So the kind of things we'll ask questions about, you're going to kind of investigate, what it is, what kind of forms of news are available on different community media groups, community newspapers, for example. What makes something news is a really good question for us to ask. What gives something impact? Why is it relevant? Why is it being a story that kind of grabs our attention? What does it tell us about ourselves that is different from some of the more dominant mainstream views? So we'll look at the way that you can build a structure into a story, and this can be useful for your blogging as well. How you can describe and set a scene and kind of relate to characters within a story. And these might not be applicable to everything that you ever write or everything that you ever report on, but it does give us an indication that once you understand how something can be structured, then you can repeat the process and you can identify who the different antagonists and protagonists might be in a story and how they relate to the kind of objectives and aims that people want to achieve, the goals that people have, so people can kind of live happily ever after, as they do in stories. So we'll look at the notes for this are up on the DMU Commons wiki. To get that, you go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk, and you can download them as a PDF format available there. The other thing that you might want to do, and we've started just to dip our toe in this, is you might want to discuss some of the topics and issues or anything else that you wish to discuss, in which case go to talk.our.dmu.ac.uk, talk.our.dmu.ac.uk. There is a thread for TECH1502, or you can start a conversation about any other topic that you wish. You're free to do that. It's a discussion forum. So I'll see you at the lecture on Monday.